not going to be comfortable. You're not camping, right? This is an emergency. Like you're freezing cold. So we're going to be doing cold immersion before they have to actually.
Welcome to the Wilderness Wavelength Podcast. Welcome to it. This is another episode of the Wilderness Wavelength Podcast. Happy to be with you. My name is George. Scott Sunderwald, as always. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Great to be here.
Scott, a legendary, can I say legendary bushcrafter in the Northern Rockies? I think so. Anytime
Who's that?
Yeah.
That's maybe a bit rich. I'm obsessed. We'll leave it at that.
An obsessed bushcrafter. I like that. That's a good version. This episode, we're digging into something that's pretty cool. PNW Survival Games, the Pacific Northwest. We welcome to the show Tony Peniche. Welcome, Tony. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Tony, okay, so the survival games, I want to dig into this. We got like some stuff to talk about, but you have like a big event happening in August. Can you tell us what's happening, what you guys got going on?
Yeah, it's a 2-day event, and we basically bring out 50 contestants that either want to compete like crazy, they're out for blood, and some of them just want to learn. So the way it works is it's a 2-day event. We do 6 different survival challenges, but before each challenge begins, we have a 30-minute skills lesson. So everyone's on the same, it's a level playing field for everybody. And then after the 30-minute lesson, then it's a 60-minute challenge. And the challenges are wild. It's a little bit like Naked and Afraid meets Spartan Race meets Fear Factor. Sort of like the challenges are sort of meant to look good on TV. And so they're pretty wild. So the skills are pure and life-saving, but the challenges are a little bit over the top, which is pretty fun.
Before we started recording, I got like the vibe from you that you're kind of like a serial entrepreneur, like you're trying to like try out a few things. Was this like always a passion for you? Did you just get into it recently, or like what's the history behind the survival games?
Yeah, I mean, serial entrepreneurs is a fair assessment. I've built and sold a few companies now. And I don't know, just the outdoors and nature and survival has always just been a passion of mine. But I do have a habit of turning my passions into businesses. I wasn't expecting to turn this one into a business. I was like, I just spent years learning bushcraft and foraging, spending as much time as I can in nature to get away from business and get away from the noise. And then I accidentally stumbled into this. And so here we are. Yeah, once again, turning one of my passions into another business. And it's pretty fun. I'm having a great time with this one.
And where are you based out of?
Portland, Oregon.
Oregon. Okay. And then, so like when you're putting on these events, so you kind of mentioned, so is this your second year doing the games then?
This will be our third event.
Third year. Okay.
Yeah.
And
the first year was weird though, because it went from like backyard barbecue concept to like a huge event within 60 days. So it's only been just over 2 years since we did the first one, even though we're going into the third year or third event.
I got a list of the challenges. Like I just took them off your website there at pnwsurvivalgames.com or survivalgames.com. Scott, I want to try to pick your brain on these ones too. So like weatherproof shelter building. Can you give us like a little breakdown what that challenge is going to look like or how you guys are going to do that?
Yeah. So in the Pacific Northwest, it rains a lot. So we have to have a shelter that is going to be rainproof. And easier said than done, because if you're down in the tropics, you have like you have a lot of foliage that has large leaves. But up here in the Pacific Northwest, you don't have quite as much of that. So it's a little bit more challenging. And the way we're going to do it is, these are 2-person teams that are competing. So we have 25 teams this year. And yeah, they'll have 60 minutes to create their waterproof shelter. There's going to be a very specific design that they have to do that we're going to teach them. And then after that 60 minutes, then to test it, which is the fun part, is we're going to give them these orange jumpsuits, kind of like a prison jumpsuit. And they're, I don't know, they're synthetic, but they're highly absorbent. And so we have them put on these jumpsuits, get into their shelter, and then we have local firemen come out with their fire hoses and simulate rain and make it rain all over the shelters. But it's very controlled. It's not random. It's very controlled, the amount of water that hits their shelters. the water will drip through the leaves and their shelter, absorb into their jumpsuit, and then they immediately step out, take off the jumpsuit. We put it into a plastic bag, and then we weigh those jumpsuits to see how much water dripped through. And obviously, the heaviest ones were the least successful, and the lightest weight ones were the most successful.
Wow.
So we try to make sure that when we're judging all of the challenges, everything is objective, which is easier said than done. Sometimes it gets really complicated, but I watch a lot of Mythbusters, and I pull inspiration from how they've measured things.
Scott, what's the best version of a waterproof shelter someone should make then?
Bring a tarp or poncho.
Yeah, right.
But
exactly.
yeah, if you don't have that, you can do thatching, which people did all over the world and still do in many places. But thatching takes a long time. You're not going to thatch a whole shelter in 60 minutes. Bark, if you can get good sheets of bark, I know working on the BC coast, you'd get red cedar and big slabs of that. You can make almost like these giant shingles. You can use birch bark, spruce bark, whatever bark you have handy, but you need quite a bit to really cover a shelter. So those are two really good options. And of course, our ancestors all used hides, but I'm assuming, Tony, they're not using animal hides for the shelter building. Yeah.
No, and I should probably make the distinction here that we are focusing on emergency situations. So we do the 60-minute format to simulate panic hour, that hour when somebody is lost in the woods. They don't want to admit it. They're denying it. They're saying, like, I know where I'm at. My car is right around the corner. It's over that hill. It's around that tree, whatever. Right. They deny that they're truly lost until the sun is setting. And now when the sun is setting, they go, crap, like I really am screwed here. And they basically have 60 minutes between that moment and before the sun goes down completely. And so when we say we're going to have them build a shelter, we're not talking about primitive living and building, having all the time in the world to build some type of shelter. We're talking about emergency shelters. So what can they do in 60 minutes before the sun goes down with limited resources?
Yeah. Challenge number 2, you're working at like water filtration, like trying to build some kind of filtration system. Is that the idea behind that one?
Yeah, this year this is going to be the first challenge we've ever done in the 3 years now that we're actually going to have the partners do 2 separate challenges. And so there'll be 2 different water filtration techniques. So each one will take on a different challenge and they'll be judged differently, but then the points will be combined, averaged, and then that's how we're going to score that one. But they're 2 very familiar techniques. I should probably also note that we keep surprises. So if I don't know when this is going to air, but if this is going to air before the games, I have to kind of be cautious on what I say.
Yeah, it will be before the game. So yeah, don't release too many secrets.
Okay.
Yeah. We did like a water purification episode before, Scott, where we talked about like the chlorine tablets or whatever you're carrying around with you.
Yeah, there's so many different type, right? There's chemical treatment, boiling. You've got these not EpiPens, what the hell, SteriPens now with the UV light. Different filters and I don't know, Tony, exactly what you guys are doing, but you might be filtering with sand and charcoal and grass and that sort of thing. Or
Scott, don't give away too many.
I'm not giving anything. I don't know what they're doing.
I'm gonna keep. You can say whatever you want. I'll keep my
You just keep your mouth shut.
I'm terrible.
But what I've often done in the river, if you go to the Athabasca, it can be really silty. So even if it's pure because you've boiled it or you've thrown some tablets in there, you're still getting that grit in your teeth. So then I'll just run it through. Coffee filter's a really quick one to take with you, or your T-shirt if it's not too sweaty. Otherwise, you're getting some added flavor there, a little salt.
The third challenge, Scott, I feel like this one's right up your alley when you're talking fire starting challenge, because you've been working on the bow drill lately. Have you been able to get one started on a regular basis?
I've been doing bow drill for like 40 years. So it's the hand drills, the really
hand drill, right?
Yeah. Bow drill, hand drill, absolutely essential for sure. Yeah, flint and steel.
So for the fire challenge this year, by the way, I want to preface one more thing, is that when every contestant arrives, they're issued a backpack, and the backpack has like $800 worth of gear in it. Half of it's from the sponsors, half of it's from us. But we don't allow people to bring their own their own backpacks, their own axes, their own knives, their own ropes. Like we provide all of that stuff. So again, it's a level playing field for every competitor. And but yeah, so I just want to preface that. Now back to the fire challenge. Something we're having a lot of fun with lately is trying to figure out how do we make these challenges even more immersive to simulate a real world scenario, like all the little details. And so if you think an emergency situation, if you had to make a primitive fire, what what is that going to be like? You're not going to be warm. You're not going to be comfortable. You're not camping, right? This is an emergency. Like you're freezing cold. So we're going to be doing cold immersion before they have to actually
Oh wow.
make their emergency fire. So they're going to be shaking and spasming and freaking out. We have like 12 different we have 12 medics this year that are going to be there to monitor everything, but we're going to push the contestants really, really hard and freeze them before they have to get out and actually make their fire, which is going to be really exciting to watch.
Yeah. Whoa,
Oh
cool.
yeah, your dexterity is compromised, right? All of that. Yeah, it's much harder if you're truly cold.
Yeah,
Wow.
wood whittling, and all the little details to like make your kit. Like it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
Hopefully no one sneaks in one of those pull start fires or that just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Makes it
they're one of the sponsors, but we're going to make sure that those
oh
items
cool.
are
Yeah.
not in the backpack. It's going to be separate.
Yeah. Camouflage and evasion would be another challenge. Like how do you how do you score that one? Is someone
You
We're
can't
hunting
give it
you?
away.
we're
You got
yeah
man
yeah
tracker out there?
yeah a whole bunch of them.
Cool.
We're gonna timestamp when they're located.
Okay. Oh, sweet. Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Hunting and primitive weapons. That's I mean, Scott, you're always building. What's the latest weapon you worked on? You made the big bow this year.
Yeah, yeah. Slings, bolas, bows, throwing sticks. Love it all.
Yeah.
Atlatls.
Yeah. So,
Is
so, so, so I can't say the technique, like the weapon that they're going to be building, but they're going to basically build a type of weapon, and then there's going to be three phases to this challenge this year. Where one, we're going to basically say that the animal is stationary, and they're probably within 15 yards because a primitive weapon or emergency weapon that you're building, you're not doing it from 50 yards, obviously. So they'll be about 15 yards away. It's stationary. After they take their first shot, then we're going to basically, then it goes to range number two. So they have to like run off. And we actually have these like life-size deer, usually for archery target practice. And it's going to be on a motorized dolly. And then that's going to start moving about 75 feet through the trees. So the contestants take their first shot. The deer then starts sort of running through the trees. Now they have to chase after it, get their second shot, and then they go to the third range. And the third range is just all about long distance, as though the animal ran off completely, and they're just kind of doing a Hail Mary at that point. So again, trying to simulate what it's like. You're not going to get multiple shots at a stationary animal. You're going to get one shot, and then it's going
yeah,
to take off.
that's cool. So are you guys filming all this? Like this gonna be how
We're filming it.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
we
then
film it. We film these live events really just for marketing purposes, and
okay.
also to add more content to the pitch video and our presentation. But yeah, we're talking to a lot of different people right now about expanding it into a 10-day version for a reality show.
Okay.
So that's one reason why the live events are so theatrical,
Yeah.
is because we're sort of testing things that on a small scale what it might be like on a TV show. But you can obviously with a much larger budget and a whole production team, all these challenges would be bigger, but we want to at least simulate what it might be like on a TV show.
Yeah. Man, that's so cool. And then the last one is some kind of self-rescue raft building.
Yeah, that one's really, really fun. We got pretty ambitious with this one this year. So the last 2 years in a row, we had different methods of building. You basically just taking garbage, like either like a 52-gallon drum that they might have found or a 5-gallon gas can. And then the rest of it is just like logs and ropes and sticks. And they're just building these crappy rafts, whatever works, right? But this year we wanted them to build a very, very specific type of craft. And we were like, can we do that in 60 minutes? And so, we test everything. And so me and my friends got together and tested it. And yeah, we could actually build it in 60 minutes. And when people see what they have to build, it's going to be so cool. And I swear, like, I would imagine a bunch of them are going to end up doing this again and again, like, almost like a party trick when they go camping with their friends to build this unique, watercraft.
And who's teaching them? Like, so you said before each challenge, there's going to be like a 30-minute instructions. Who's doing the instructions for these guys?
Yeah, so this year we have a pretty big lineup. Normally, we formatted it so that way you only need three amazing survival instructors. But this year we have 8, which is pretty wild. It's really hard to say no to people. Like, it's hard to say no to your heroes when they're like, "Oh, I want to come out and help." I'm like, "Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
come on out." So we have 8 this year. So it'll be basically two instructors per lesson, kind of working together, teaching it. But we have Biko Wright, who is the runner-up on Alone season 8. We have Carrie Lee, who is the runner-up on season 9 of Alone. We have Danny Graves, who was on Naked and Afraid season 12 and season 15. We have Dana Anderson, Wild Mountain Man Dan. He's the legend in the community. We have Sharon Ross, also known as Afrovivalist. She has like her own special on Netflix. She's really specializes in prepping and emergency disaster scenarios. We also have Natalie Bonthius, who is the founder of Survival Med, and she's also an ER surgeon. And she's phenomenal. If you guys don't follow her on social media, you definitely should. Like, she's like in a different country, like every month, working with different governments around the world and different organizations, teaching emergency and wilderness medicine, which is pretty awesome. We also have Sean Kelly this year. He has his own YouTube channel called Corporal's Corner. They have over like 1 million subscribers. And he focuses more on, I guess, more military survival skills. And then EJ Snyder. I think a lot of people know who EJ Snyder is. He's a 6-time Naked and Afraid Legends, also on Dual Survival, also on First Man Out. He's a total badass. I'm pretty stoked to have him flying for this event. Did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody.
That's an amazing lineup. Yeah, when I went on the website, I was quite pleasantly surprised, Tony. You guys have got some top brass there teaching the stuff, so that's fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, it was. I didn't know any of these people. Just for the record, I didn't know any of these people like just 2 years ago. It wasn't until we posted it on Facebook, to do this backyard barbecue concept, and then it went viral, and then all of a sudden we started getting all these phone calls of people being interested and wanting to be a part of it. And so I still get a little starstruck when I'm hanging out with these guys. It's very exciting right now.
I was looking at your own bio there, and it said you've hunted alligators, iguanas, wild boars, ducks, snakes, and other critters. Did I get that right?
Yeah, I'm a weirdo. My freezer is full of so many weird animals. I can't help myself, especially invasive. I got a thing for invasive species. Like when I heard that iguanas were like super invasive in Florida, and it's like a problem, I'm like, great, let's go. So I just flew down to Florida and went iguana hunting for a while. Wow. I think next on my list is going to be I want to go get. And by the way, I eat anything I kill. I eat, of course, but I want to go get like some boa constrictors down in Florida because those are a problem down there as well.
Well, that's fantastic. And the reason I bring it up, George and I are both big into hunting and fishing, and so that's right up our alley. My freezer's right now got bear, elk, a lynx in there to be eaten too. So yeah, I eat all sorts of weird and wonderful things. Lots of different fish, of course, and grouse, but that's great. Yeah. Wild boars, tell me about that one.
Yeah, when I went down there to go alligator hunting, they were like, well, for an extra $150, we can go wild boar hunting as well. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. That one was pretty easy. I mean, there's so many, wild hogs out there, they're a problem. Yeah, it's pretty easy. Just shot it in the head from maybe 75 yards. And and then they just pack up the meat and ship it back to me. And I'm still working on it. That was a couple years ago, and I'm still working through that meat.
That's great. And with the alligators and iguanas, are you throwing that stuff in the slow cooker or making kebabs? What's your game recipe there?
For the iguana, the thing I keep making is uh, coconut curry over rice.
Oh
That
yeah.
was really good. Obviously, if you've had it before, it just tastes like chicken. It's just a little stringy, so you need floss when you're done. And then the alligator, I tend to make a lot of, just fry up alligator bites. Yeah, just fry those up, and I make a lot of tacos for people with that. Um,
Alligator tacos.
yeah, actually, the first recipe that we did was sort of a weird thing where I had the I don't know, whoever cleaned it down in Florida. I had them ship me like the skull, like the whole head, and so they just put it in ice, and it came with like the tongue and the eyes and everything. It was still like just fresh, just on ice, and that arrived a couple days before the meat did. But I had a bunch of friends over. There was like a dozen of my friends over at my house just hanging out, and all of a sudden, heard the doorbell ring, and then there was this box, and I was like, "Sweet, this is perfect." So we open it up, and I showed everybody. I'm like, "Here's the head," and all of a sudden we're like, "Wait a minute, there's actually meat on here." So we actually like, cut out the cheeks, cut out the tongue, got as much meat as we could off the skull, and made tacos for everybody that night. That was really
Wow.
fun.
That's a great idea. Was the meat fairly tender? Did you have to run it through a grinder or is it kind of flaky?
No, for the most part, it's pretty tender. So the thing with alligator specifically is you can ruin it really easily if you cook it like normal meats. So with alligator, you want whatever you're doing, like let's say you're frying it, you want that oil to be as hot as possible, way hotter than you would normally fry something. So you want to cook it really, really hot and really fast. So I'm talking like 60 seconds of
Hmm.
frying. So that oil's got to be really, really hot, and the pieces have to be kind of small. And so as long as you do it hot and fast, then everything is still pretty tender. But if you cook it like normal, it's so lean that it's going to get super chewy.
Yeah, it's almost like a deep fry, I guess, just a fast deep fry then. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
Cool.
yeah.
we
Speed is your friend.
Yeah.
do you feel like this lifestyle, like the bushcraft and the hunting and like the more survivalism, is that becoming more mainstream nowadays? Is like more people getting into it? Is that your vibe now that you're kind of in the industry?
Um, I want to say yes, but I think it's partially because my bubble is growing.
Yeah.
But I'm a marketing and branding business consultant, and so I'm in a different city every week. I lecture all over the U.S. And so I get exposed to every little pocket of the country, and it's unfortunately not quite. It's not growing as fast, and it's not becoming as mainstream as I would like to pretend that it is. When I talk about it, I tend to talk about it like publicly, um, and people like it and they get excited and they go, "I love watching those shows." But then when I break it down and I'm like, well, "But would you actually try it? Would you actually do it?"
Yeah.
Most people won't try it or won't do it. They just like watching it, but they don't want to get involved with it necessarily. So again, I think it's just my bubble is making me believe that it's becoming more mainstream, but I don't think it
Well,
actually is.
on that note, I was gonna ask you about the participants that you do get on these shows. Who are they? How do you find them? And what have you found in the 3 years that you've done this? Who tends to succeed the most? And do you create diverse teams with different skill sets, or is it sort of pull names from a hat? That whole process is very interesting to me.
Yeah, so I would say about half the people that sign up have a partner in mind. So they sign up together and they inform us, and that's fine. But anybody that signs up solo, we end up doing a lottery the week before. Like we do it like live on Instagram, and we'll just sort of find different clever ways to do a lottery. But then we just pair them up randomly, and then we email them so that way they can talk to each other for at least a week before the games and start to strategize on their strengths and weaknesses. And then, yeah, about half of them, half the contestants are experienced survivalists. Maybe they were a Boy Scout at one point, or they actually live this lifestyle on a regular basis and they want to come out and prove that they're the best. But then the other half, they just want to come out and learn, or they just want to come out and have a good time. A lot of people, it does seem like a lot of people just want to increase their knowledge base, and learn from these amazing survivalists that we have teaching. And then, yeah, and then as far as like recruiting these people, it's all through social media. So we just post it, put it out there. There's definitely a hunger for this. The idea of learning new skills through a competition format is pretty unique. Usually it's one or the other. But we're saying like, no, like we want you to learn this. And then we want to see if you actually retained what you just learned by doing it in a competition format. Because in an emergency situation, your heart is racing, you're panicking, you have limited time, you have limited resources. And that's what it's actually going to be like in an emergency. If you crash your car in the mountains, right? Or you survive a plane wreck or whatever it is. So that competition really does simulate a real world scenario. And so people tend to get excited about this new opportunity because I don't think there's any other courses or workshops out there that do it in this format. So yeah, we just put it on social media, run some social media ads, and people sign up, and that's really how we've done it so far. We've also done quite a few podcasts and a little bit of TV stuff, so people are aware of it. So it's really not hard to get people to sign up because there's just enough exposure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony, one of the questions we like to ask our guests, especially like people that are kind of into the survivalism and outdoors, like, so you're dropped off in the middle of nowhere. Are you going with a knife or a lighter?
Probably a knife. Yeah.
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 Could you?
I can make fire with my necklace.
Okay. That seems like it's cheating, but maybe maybe we gotta start wearing fire starting necklaces nowadays. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm one of those gadget guys, dude. Like, just like everything that I wear, like all my accessories, everything has like a dual purpose to it. But I do enjoy like, because I do a lot of public speaking. I don't know. I like wearing a suit on stage, looking all professional, but then I have these like survival pieces that I'm rocking with it, sort of bringing that with me, which is pretty fun.
What's your everyday like knife carry?
Well, I spend a lot of time on airplanes, so I don't carry a knife. But I do have when I have a larger suitcase that I'm not just carrying on, I have just a Gerber little pocket knife
Okay.
that I take with me everywhere.
Scott, have we ever talked about what your everyday carry is? What are you carrying with you normally?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a fixed blade, I've got the Stonehawker, that beautiful handcrafted knife from the States, actually. But I carry it everywhere. But I have a whole knife collection.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have a Kershaw right here that's always in my pocket. It's nice and thin, very similar to your Gerber, probably, Tony, and you can just fit it everywhere. Um, Always ready to go. It's got that one hand opening,
Yeah.
which is nice. Which
George,
is
what's
nice to
yours?
have.
It's
Yeah.
Leatherman Skeletool. I've had this in my pocket probably 5, 6 years in a row. It's just like it's got the knife, and then you can open it up, and it's got the pliers, and it's got a little screwdriver, and it was the lightest one I could find, and everyone I talk to, I'm like, man, just having that. Like, I understand like going on airplanes not easy to do, but
Yeah.
yeah, in my line of work and being out in the bush here, it's like, hey, if you got a knife on you, you never know when you're gonna. It comes in handy so many times of the day. So
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Tony, you mentioned the 10-day reality show. Tell us more about what that's going to be like and what your vision is for that, as much as you
Yeah.
can at this point.
Yeah. So the vision is a similar format where it's going to be two people working together. They're not going to know each other though. So they'll be total strangers right up until the moment they start. They'll take off a blindfold, look over and be like, oh, I'm with you. And then the challenge like immediately begins. At least that's the plan right now. And yeah, and then they're going to have to get through, it might be longer than 10 days, but basically 10 different episodes. And during those individual episode days, we're planning on 3 different challenges similar to what we're doing now, except we're going to be focusing on one pillar of survival per episode. So, as you know, like there's no continuity out there. Like some people say that there's like 4 pillars of survival. Some people say that there's a dozen. We're just going to go with EJ Snyder's list. He has a list of 9 pillars of survival, and they're slightly military based, but that's fine. It works well for our format because we want to have 9 episodes all focusing on a different pillar, and then the 10th episode is like a culmination of everything combined. So that works out really well for us. But let's say it's, episode 1, there's going to be 3 different challenges all related to fire, and they'll compete in that, accumulate points, probably gain a resource as well, and then do another one, and then at the end of each episode, the team with the lowest number of points would be eliminated. That's sort of the plan right now. Obviously, a lot more to it, but that's the basics.
Yeah, and then of course you get the interesting team dynamics of a bunch of strangers having to figure out leadership and followership and all of that, which I guess is very realistic when it comes to survival situations. If your helicopter goes down, your bush plane, or your boat, you don't always get to pick who you're with when something like that happens, right? Yeah.
No, and I got a good example. Just last year, like 24 hours after the survival games ended, my sister's boyfriend, who was from Los Angeles, he was just hanging, up here for a few weeks. He was up near Multnomah Falls. If you live in Oregon, you know where Multnomah Falls is. It's like the second largest waterfall in the U.S. And he was hiking around there, and it's really beautiful. But he was just wearing like a tank top and shorts, and he ended up just getting lost on these trails because he doesn't know what he's doing. He's not from around here, and ends up just hours and hours like deep into the forest. And it was exactly what we described with Panic Hour. He refused to admit that he was lost until the sun was setting. And then he finally started making some phone calls and saying that he's lost and he's, doesn't know what to do. And yeah, so anyways, he ended up running into somebody else who was also lost. It was a woman and her son, and the woman had hurt her knee. And now they were basically, the 3 of them were just sort of stuck together. So again, you don't get to pick and choose who you're going to survive with in an emergency situation. You're just stuck with whoever's there. And so now he was with somebody who was basically handicapped. And they just had to, hunker down. They didn't have any flashlights, like their cell phone batteries were going to die pretty soon. So they just had to sit there in the dark and not move until search and rescue found them, which was a little bit after 2 a.m.
Yeah, and so much of that doesn't just come down to skill, but it's that whole character of your team and the team dynamics, which of course makes for very interesting TV, right? That's the good stuff. Yeah. George, are you going to apply?
Yeah, Scott, if you're on my team, Scott, I think I got a chance. I don't know. Like, I feel like the fire building, I think I could do pretty good. The waterproof, the shelter, I don't know.
But again, you got a 30-minute lesson before the game begins.
No, I mean, I love that idea of it. Yeah, I love the concept of this. It's like it's a cool way to have a competition for sure. Did you guys in like the previous years have some like infighting like between teams, like going after each other or like sabotaging or anything like that?
I'm not gonna lie. I think we tried to stir the pot a little bit and try to force that to happen
Yeah.
at one point. But no, for some reason at these 2-day games, there was just so much camaraderie, and it's really beautiful. So people will finish their challenge and then immediately just start cheering on their competitor or helping their competitor. Obviously they make sure that they finish first. But then no, everyone's very supportive. A lot of really good, beautiful camaraderie. Just cheering each other on. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Lots of altruism. So Tony, if everything works out to your wildest dreams, where would you like to see this thing grow in the next 5, 10 years? What's your vision?
Okay, so my dream vision for all of this would be that we sign a deal with Amazon Prime Video, so that way it's streamed on Amazon, but then that way we can really focus on our product line, where we basically just want to like look at their data and just say like, all right, what's the best rope? What's the best backpack? What's the best axe? What's the best knife? And then go to all those suppliers and then just do our own private label of those products to make sure that like we have customer satisfaction, that's really, really good quality products by leveraging their data. So that'd be one piece. And then the other part is we've been in talks with Scouting America, formerly known as Boy Scouts. And they seem to be pretty interested in licensing our brand and our event format, and they have over 250 councils across the U.S. They have over 2,000 wildlife properties that the general public hasn't seen in like 100 years. Unless you're a Boy Scout, like you don't know, you haven't stepped foot on these properties. And so we're really hoping to sign a deal with them and be able to do survival games all over the US. That would be just like a dream situation if we could do that. Because if we had, let's say, 100 different cities doing survival games, then we can do like regionals and then semifinals and then like national championships. Just like football or basketball. That'd be really, really cool to like, the winners of each region coming together and then finally like, a final showdown of like the best of the best.
Yeah.
Survivalists in the country. Oh, and actually, I didn't answer one of your questions earlier. You're asking about who does the best on these things. It's shocking. Absolute amateurs are crushing it at these challenges, and I think the reason why is because some people that have experience in survival, they've done these challenges, they've done these skills under different conditions, right? It's in their neck of the woods. It's a different type of tree, or it's a different environment, whatever it is, or they had a different tool, right? Like they want their axe and their knife. But this is a level playing field. And anyways, a lot of amateurs that are just really good natural problem solvers and really creative are just killing it and doing really, really well. So that nobody really saw that coming. Nobody expected the amateurs to do as well as they do.
It's awesome. Yeah. So then it does become a level playing field. It's not just about the old timers with the skills. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just last year, anybody that watches Naked and Afraid, there's a guy named Sam Strong that was on Naked and Afraid last year. And he's a big, burly, macho kind of guy. Like lives survival as well. And completed the full 21 days. He came out and competed last year and didn't even podium, which blew everyone's minds. And so the people that ended up winning were just amateurs. Well, at least people that took second place and third place, those teams were total amateurs. And it was wild to see that they beat out Sam Strong. Now, the team that did win last year, that was Ian Anderson and his wife. And Ian Anderson is the son of Wild Mountain Man Dana Anderson.
Okay. Yeah.
He didn't have any advantage though. Like he didn't know what the challenges are going to be. Like he didn't have any warning or heads up on anything. So it was totally fair. It's just, he was raised by a legend. Of course he was going to win.
Of course. How much do athletic skills play into this? Because there's a speed challenge, I imagine, with some of the stuff like rafts and so forth. There's going to be some weight to carry and this sort of thing. Does that play a strong role? Do the fitter teams win more, or does it come down more to character, morale, team ethic?
It probably comes down to your ability to control your anxiety. I think having a high IQ definitely helps, being able to assess a situation and break it down. If you're a good engineer and you're good at problem solving and coming up with creative workarounds and solutions, that gives you an advantage. But athleticism isn't really a major component of this. As long as you have two working legs and two working arms, and on a scale of 1 to 10, when it comes to fitness, if you're a 5, you're fine. Like you can win this thing. It really comes down to, what's between your ears.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You're going to get the military watching you and analyzing what you're learning on this show.
Yeah, right. That'd be cool.
Scott, do you got some would you rather questions for this episode too?
I do. You stole my first one with the knife and lighter. That was my first. That was our classic survival.
Yeah.
One, and I think you did say the knife, right, Tony? And that would be your first choice. And I think the way we've answered that one is if it's summertime, I'm picking knife. If it's Canadian winter in the Rockies, I'm picking the lighter just because fire is just insane when you're covered in deep snow. Not that it can't be done, but it's just that much harder, right? But So it's one of those depends on the situation sort of things, right? Yeah. Yeah, so I've got a serious would you rather and a goofy one.
All
So
right.
we'll start with the serious one first. Would you rather have to survive 3 weeks on a tiny tropical island?
Hmm.
Now, when I say tiny, it's the size of your house.
Okay.
3 weeks, or 3 weeks on a mountaintop high in the Alpine. It's summertime Alpine. It's not, minus 30.
Island, 100% island.
Mm.
I'm an avid spear fisherman,
Yeah.
and free diver. Like that is just like my everyone that knows me pretty well. Like that is my happy place. That's where like there's no cell phone reception underwater. Nobody can talk to me. I think I'm a lot more. I think I have a lot more anxiety, and I'm a lot more introverted than I lead on. Based off of like what I do for a living. And so it's complete silence and complete peace when I'm diving. And yeah, so 3 weeks on a tiny little island like that actually sounds like a holiday. That'd be
Yeah.
fantastic.
Right on. How about you, George? Alpine or island?
Yeah, I'm not good at spear fishing. I'm not really great at spear birding either, though, so I don't know if I'd be getting much on the alpine either. But yeah, I think I'd go mountain top alpine. Yeah, I'm going alpine. I think so. Just I haven't really spent much time like on like on water. That sounds weird, but like yeah, yeah, I'm good.
Come hang out with me, man.
Yeah.
Twice a year, I'm on these little tropical adventures.
Okay, Tony, send me a message next time. I want to go spear fishing with you on an island.
All right. What about you,
Eating
Scott?
snakes.
Yeah,
Eating
eating
snake. Oh,
snakes
Yeah.
and
yeah.
iguana.
Which one would I would choose? The for food, the island's actually better. The ocean just gives so much. Even if you're just
Mm.
flipping rocks, you can find shellfish, crabs, and as you said, it wouldn't take much to start trapping fish and spearing fish. The fresh water is a big problem. So if this island gets a lot of rain that you can get some drinking water, great. If not, you're surrounded by salt, you're kind of screwed. I've done a lot of
But, but,
alpine.
but, but you could take trash though and like do like make a still.
Yeah, yeah, maybe you can do a bit of a solar still. The alpine's exciting. I do a lot of stuff high in the mountains. You're contending with grizzly bears, but hey, you might get yourself a bighorn sheep or a mountain
Mm.
goat or
Yeah.
some ptarmigan. So there's always options, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got
My other would you rather is a bit goofy. So we did a show on the zombie apocalypse a few months ago, Tony, and really got deep into it. So I'm going to throw you a zombie survival question.
Okay.
Would you rather take on zombies with a baseball bat as your only weapon or a crowbar in the apocalypse? We debated this one.
I'm gonna go with crowbar, just because the density of the material would crack the skull a little easier.
Mhm.
I feel like a wood baseball bat would it might be a little bit longer and slightly heavier, but I don't think it's gonna crack a skull as easily if you're trying to puncture and get into the brain cavity.
Mhm.
I think a crowbar would do better.
I
How about
agree
you,
with that.
George?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's crowbar does make the most sense. Baseball bat, you break that thing on your first swing, then you're in trouble. Crowbar, a little more durable. Yeah, yeah. I'm
For
going
your
And we
crowbar.
were
answers.
saying too, if you're trying to break into buildings and evade,
Mm.
the crowbar's got some utility to it. Yeah, I think you made the right choice there.
Okay, how about this one, Scott and Tony? Okay, so would you rather be chased by a swarm of bees or a pack of wolves?
What's the environment?
Um, your backyard area, like like somewhere in Oregon, like yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna
out in
go
the
with
bush.
wolves. I'm gonna go
Wolves?
with wolves. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I can climb a tree and just hang out for a while and get away from the wolves. The
Mm,
bees, there's no escape.
that's a good point. I didn't really think about that. Yeah. Where you going, Scott?
Well, if it's a pack of wolves, you'd make history, certainly in North America. Europe has more stories of serious wolf attacks. There's a few minor ones in Canada and the States. So yeah, if you're going for the glory, go for the wolf attack. But I have been sworn by wasps twice in my life and ended up in the hospital, so I know what that feels like. But I did survive, so I might I might go with the bees because I know
Hmm.
I can survive it. And I
Yeah.
actually got euphorically high. I swelled up big time, but I felt like I was on some drugs.
Yeah.
It was weird.
I,
Yeah,
I just don't like that little flying things. Like you literally can't get away from them. Like unless you
Yeah.
go underwater, which is not exactly reasonable, especially for a long duration. Um, whereas the wolves, I mean, you can get away from them,
you can
Yeah.
climb trees. Yeah,
potentially.
Yeah.
hopefully. Yeah. How about you, George?
Yeah, I mean, you guys make some solid points now. I mean, I feel like the wolves I could get away from better. I mean, yeah, I'm going wolves. I'm going wolves as well. Yeah, that's a solid plan. Okay, well, that's another would you rather
Yeah,
concept
yeah.
on the podcast.
That's fun.
Awesome. I want to segue back to the survival games here. You talked about so many of the success stories and impacts, which are all great. I want to hear a bit some of the challenges. What have been the biggest challenges in running this program? First question. And second, if you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice at the start of this journey, what would it be? What have you learned in trying to set something like this up?
Um, I think the hardest challenges is going to be, I think that having the right production team. Um, like we don't know what we're doing. Let's just be honest. Like we like my friends and I are really good. My friends that are doing this with me have helped me build other companies in the past, and so we're all very used to wearing a lot of hats and taking on all these different responsibilities, um, and adapting and learning as we go. Right? You can Google anything. There's YouTube tutorials on everything. So so the answers are out there, and we're comfortable not knowing and figuring it out. That's great. But it would have been nice early on if we had people that had a lot more experience producing outdoor events, understanding how, different requirements, like just understanding what type of insurance we need, or what type of medical infrastructure that we need. Luckily, we have Natalie Bonthius now, who's like just, you know, God sent, and is helping us write all the paperwork, deal with the insurance companies, deal with local regulations. There's just so much I didn't know about all that stuff. So thank God the first 2 years nobody got seriously injured because we probably weren't covered as well we should have been. Like last year we only had to call an ambulance once, luckily, for somebody that had heat stroke and kept, I think they passed out 4 times in a row. We're like, fine, we got to call an ambulance. Um, uh, but other than that, like nobody got seriously injured. Like lots of cuts and a few stitches, but nothing serious. Again, you have like 50 adults running around with axes and knives and fire and logs and under a competition format, all trying to win. Yeah, injuries are going to happen, and we didn't fully think that through the first couple rounds. Um, so that would be the advice I give myself, is having the right production team right from the jump, for something as potentially dangerous as what we're doing.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned insurance. I tried to insure a giant climbing wall once, and most of the insurance companies went screaming out of the room when I proposed it. What was it like to get an insurance company that would take this seriously and sit down and not, charge you your kidneys and your whole bank account to make this work?
There's a lot of clever framing, like the way you word things and the way you frame things, so you don't freak people out. Because I'm so used to talking about it from like a thrilling, exciting selling standpoint, and that's not how you want to talk to an insurance company when they're evaluating risk. So
Yeah.
we had to really focus on, this is more of an educational program, which it is, and yeah, basically just when you're talking to insurance companies, dial it back, focus on the educational piece, um, and yeah, and your communication format needs to be totally different from your marketing.
It's a summer campout. with a bunch of fun people. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if we just had like one of these things, it wouldn't be that hard to insure. But the fact that we have fire, and then we also have stuff where they're going to be in the water, like in the river, which is totally different. And then there's also going to be like projectiles. And then there's also food that we're providing. You know, like we supply all the food. And then there's overnight camping. Like these are all completely different things that insurance companies may or may not insure. But to have all of them in one, it was a real pain in the butt, to be honest.
What is the location? Where you guys like? Do you have a big campground you're doing this at, or where does it happen?
Yeah, so yeah, after we realized that it wasn't going to fit in my backyard 2 years
Yeah.
ago, I went on an app called Hip Camp and just looked for you know, privately owned properties where you can just put up a tent. And I found a property called the Malala Ripple. It's 25 acres and it's owned by a retired firefighter. And yeah, it's in Malala, Oregon, right on the Malala River, which is great to have access to the river, and then the rest of the property. And yeah, so it's not very big, but it doesn't need to be big because again, these are 60-minute challenges. So it's not like they're doing a navigation challenge where they need to go miles and miles.
I love the idea. I want to come and do it. I think maybe I have to sign up for next year, or even when you get the
Actually,
reality.
we still have 5 spots left. A couple people couldn't make it for whatever reason, so we have 5 spots open right now. If you guys want to come do it, and it's going to be. I mean, you know the crew, like the instructors are going to be there. It's going to be awesome, and then a lot of the reps from the sponsors are going to be there too. So
it's cool, guys. Yeah, it is the weekend of my anniversary, so I might have to convince the wife to sign up too, and then.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, happy anniversary. Yeah. Let's try to build this fire and not get angry at each other.
Yeah, it was a married couple that won last year, so that's
awesome.
I love it.
Yeah, well, when are you coming to Canada to do one of these, Tony? That's when you need to look us up and do one in the Canadian Rockies. Yeah. Give yourself a few years to get your footing, and then that'll be a whole new level.
Do the Scouts do anything in Canada?
Oh yeah, we got a big Scouts movement in Canada. We have junior forest wardens, junior forest rangers. There's a bunch of different groups like that do that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to them, see if we can license this up there, this exact format, continue to spread it. Just because I think our format is really attractive to, I guess, amateurs, people that are curious about bushcraft and curious about survival. Putting into a competition format, it kind of gives people a reason to get off their ass, get off the couch and give this a try, rather than just watching Naked and Afraid and going, I could do that. Like I've seen it a million times, but most people haven't actually tested themselves. They haven't actually done it. And they might have even done a bow drill at one point and got a lot of smoke, but they never actually got it to flame, or at least sustain the flame afterwards. So, yeah. Anyways, we'd love to bring it to Canada if possible, and bring it to more people.
Cool.
PNW survivalgames.com, survivalgames.com. Tony Peniche, thanks so much for taking the time and chatting with us, Tony. This is, I'm hoping for great success for you, and I'm excited to see where this ends up. But it really seems like you're on the right track to something pretty cool.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you guys, and hopefully you guys will come out and compete.
Yeah. My hope is we're going to look back in 10 years. We're going to be like, can you believe we had Tony on this show? Like, holy smokes. Yeah. So that's the hope. Yeah, right on.
Yeah, PNW Survival Games. You can find them on Instagram, Facebook. Follow along with the adventure there. And they got like a pretty cool website that kind of, breaks everything down too for what's going on there. Scott Sunderwald, Northern Rockies Bushcraft. What's next on the list for you, Scott, this summer? You got any trips planned or?
Always, man. Always. There's always something crazy. My hunting season I'm starting to get the itch already, and we're still a few weeks away. Made some black bear sausages on the weekend, ran them through the smoker. They are delicious. We'll have to give you a go at that, George.
Yeah, I'm down.
Tony, come over. We'll feed you some bear sausage.
Yeah, trade an alligator for a bear. That's a good trade, right?
That is a good trade. I got you.
Perfect. Okay, and if you're listening to this episode, wherever you're listening, leave us a review. That's always handy. And thanks everyone that's been sending in emails. It's been awesome to see that. So thanks so much for listening. You want to send an email, wildernesswave@outlook.com. Best way to do that, or find us on social media. Thanks again, Tony. Thanks, Scott. Until next week, stay wild.
Wilderness Wavelength.